I'm your host, BKP. I'm your host, BKP. One more time. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. Diane, I sent you a picture. Can you, when you get it, um, I always have to tell her I sent it because she's got a million things going on there that I sent an extra graphic, but I was sent something over the break, and I love this audience. If you could put that up whenever you find it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Now I can only stay to 10:10. I'm going to be zipping right out of here, jumping in my combustible. Is that how you pronounce that? A lot of syllables. Combustible engine vehicle. You know what's funny is someone sent me a message that said at the rally yesterday, at the protest at USAID protest, when they were all there protesting, when they got done, they were locked out by Elon Musk. They all had to get in their Tesla to leave. Oh, I thought that was great. That cracked me up. Yeah, Elon Musk. Let me get in my Tesla. Anyhow, okay. How much money has the U.S. given? One of our viewers threw this in the machine and said, "How much money has the U.S. given to Somalia?" That is why the United States has particularly thought through. The U.S. Agency of International Development has provided, let's see, over 1.7 billion in humanitarian assistance since 2022. Wow. To migrate and the impact of droughts and floods. Yes. 1.7 billion. No wonder. Diane, give me number. Where's my picture? Give me number. Where's it at? Where's the there? Give me number 17. No wonder she's upset. 1.7 billion. Wow. No wonder she was upset. Right? Wow. Ilan Omar, whatever her name is. All right, so take that down. Now, moving right along, let me just say this before we go any further. Excuse me, Diane. Give me number 3. I got a little pushback yesterday. You know I love you guys, so I'm gonna give this. I got a little pushback because I made a comment about Kristi Noem wearing a cowboy hat, and she's from South Dakota. And someone said to me, I got a message, and someone said, if Beyonce could win Country Album of the Year, Kristi Noem can wear a cowboy hat to the southern border, being from South Dakota. And I said, you know what? They call that touche. So I said, touche, I'll take that. So there you go. All right. I'm okay. She's got her cowboy hat on. I've got 2 cowboy hats right over here. So there you go. Let me take that down. I had to put that up. I got a little pushback. Didn't want anybody to be upset over the cowboy hat. I like it. I think it looks good. Take that down, Diane. My only concern with this picture here. No, I'm not going to do it now. This is one of those pictures I have to put up, take down, and then run because you guys will get upset with what I'm about to say. So Canada yesterday, the Trump tariffs. Let's break this down and we'll stay focused. Yesterday morning, we put out, if you did not watch it, I laid out the entire tariff scenario. Okay? I laid it out. We have actually, what we laid out yesterday, we did the segment a year ago. So we got a major problem in Mexico with what they call nearshoring. Remember yesterday? Remember the jackass from down there in Virginia, Warner, nearshoring? And we have worked so hard to on our what do you say? Integrate our auto manufacturing. No, you did not. We've worked so hard in sending the auto manufacturers north and south of the continental US of A. And nearshoring, what that means when you hear it is China builds their factories in Mexico with their money. They own it. Mexico allows China to own their factories, okay? Own the property, and it's called nearshoring. And the guy said, we've worked so hard with getting Chinese companies to nearshore. No, that is to avoid tariffs. Why do you think China's upset this morning? Why do you think China is really upset? Because 2 days ago, here's what you were saying to me and everybody. 2 days ago, well, he's putting 25% on. He's putting 25% on Mexico and 25% on Canada and only 10 on China. Look, what happened at Panama Canal with little Marco, what happened in Mexico, and what happened in Canada is totally a power move against China. Now, we have to have somebody in the White House that has to do a power move against China. All right. Mexico is no contest whatsoever, militarily or anyway. Canada is no contest. I don't think that we really want to have a fight with Mexico. We do want to stop the cartels. We'll talk about that. And I don't think we really want to fight with Canada. Great comedians have come out of Canada. If Trump would have put a tariff on Canadian comedians, I would have got upset myself. Okay. Eugene Levy? Really? All right. Anyhow, moving right along. But we talked about nearshoring, meaning China building their factories down there, coming across the border, zero tariffs. Now, what happened was Mexico, we've got a problem in Mexico. Let's go with the tariff war number one. Now, Canada, and I'm glad you don't watch the network news. But nowhere in the network news will they talk about saving a life, right? Nowhere. Now, what they will do is they will tell you that USAID, by shutting down USAID, I actually heard this yesterday out of one of them, that we're killing babies in other parts of the world. I was puzzled by that one. I thought that's what you wanted. I'm serious. I'm laughing. This lady said, by shutting this down, we are actually killing babies around the world. And I'm thinking, I thought that's what you wanted all along. Where's the problem? So our children, right? Fentanyl poison, our old factory towns across this country that have gone to Canada, gone to Mexico. And if you drive through an old factory town, you'll see the old buildings with all the windows smashed out, right? Or tear them down, put new condos up, whatever. Nothing about that is on the upside for these whack jobs, okay? Saving children. Trump saying fentanyl, you will stop the flow of drugs coming into this country. All right. I'm of the generation war on drugs. Remember, many of you say the war on drugs didn't work. I get it. Just say no. Remember Nancy Reagan told us all, just say no. And I didn't listen. I'm just saying, no, easy. It's maybe easy. Okay. But anyhow, Trump is going to stop the flow of illegals, terrorists, drugs, and he's going to slow down, and at the risk of collapsing, see, we can't collapse Canada and Mexico. We just can't collapse them because, then we've got to bail them out. And that's what we do is we bail these countries out. We don't do the right thing. Now, let me move past that. I want to This is what the media wants you to think. Number 6, this is the team of I Hate America team, the Morning Joe I Hate America team. Trump blinks on North American tariffs. Right? So now, Tulsi Gabbard, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about RFK, and we got to talk about sometime today, Doug Collins will be voted by lunch. He will be voted Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Let's see here. Now, Canada, number 13. Canada, what Canada will do. Canada will implement $1.3 billion in a border plan, reinforce Canada-U.S. border with new technology equipment, 10,000 frontline personnel. So they're going to put 10,000, what do they call them, Canadian Mounties, right, on there. I mean, they've already started. Canada has already started putting Canadian Mounties on the line. You can't argue that. We got video 16. They've already started. Run the tape. See, we told you. Canada's already started. I mean, Dudley Do-Right has already been assigned to the border. I know. I know. You could have done without that. How many of you out there really remember Dudley Do-Right? Besides me. All right, so Canada. Now, remember, I showed you yesterday. On a serious note, I showed you yesterday. We put it up. They were talking about the wine and the bourbon, and Canada was shut off power to America, and Canada would boo as they sing the American national anthem at basketball and hockey games in Canada. They would continue to boo, and they would take the bourbon off the shelf, and we'll get you. Look, I tell you this over and over. Trump said yesterday, we don't need anything you have. We will cut our own lumber. Let me tell you something, folks. I will tell you this. Trump is brilliant. Now, you can get mad at me all day long. I don't fall for things. I don't get caught in political stunts. But if you go up in the Northwest, in the Washington State, Minnesota, if you go up in the Northwest of this country, this great country, we have lumber like you would not believe that we could be harvesting. It's amazing what we could do. We don't need their lumber. Realistically, we can go through and we have those resources in the continental. We don't need it. We don't need your cars. Trump said yesterday, we don't need your cars. He said, I showed you yesterday how many American cars are built in Canada up there. They have basically, between Mexico and Canada, they have basically taken our entire automotive industry. Now, I will tell you this. Go look yourself. Look it up yourself. The new manufacturers that are coming online in America are EVs. You go down to Mexico, you look at Honda, you look at Nissan, you look at all of the foreign manufacturers that have built plants in Mexico, and you go up into Canada and look at the F-150s, F-250s, 350s. What we are doing in America is building these obsolete, to me, EV plants. Look at Georgia. Hyundai down there. EVs. Kia now, for the most part. EVs. All across this country. So Trump said, I don't need your vehicles in Canada. I'd rather they were manufactured here. So the bottom line is Trudeau knows, no matter what they say, he knows that they could, Trump could bankrupt Canada in 90 days. He shuts Canada off. It's not even 90 days. They're bankrupt. In fact, their dollar crashed yesterday. They're in a heap of trouble, as you would say. Give me number 14. As president, it's my responsibility to ensure the safety of all Americans. I am doing just that. I am very pleased with the initial outcome, and the tariffs announced on Saturday will be paused for 30 days to see whether or not a final economic deal with Canada can be structured. Now, here's the other thing. Trump has to do something with this North American free trade agreement. It sucks. Only way I can put it. It is bad. Now, in jest, say it like that, they wanted to create free trade, right? Free trade between Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. We're all friends. Can't we just sing Kumbaya and get along and trade with each other? And no, we can't, because one, that is a globalist move, and the move was made by people like George H. Bush. The move was made like George H. Bush, which Bill Clinton was used. That's why George H. Bush absolutely loved Bill Clinton. Absolutely loved him. That's why. So the globalists, we can get the foothold right all the way back at George H. in Mexico with China. Bottom line. So it's no good. Trump has to. This is where we have to keep our eyes open. Trump has to come and bring Canada and Mexico to the table with a new economic deal that shuts China down. The next deal we make with Mexico and Canada economically, right? Give me number 15. The next deal we make has to, no exceptions, shut China down. Now, if we make an aggressive deal, okay, we make an aggressive deal with Mexico and Canada, where we trade with them, they trade with us. I'm not totally opposed to what I call a good deal, but I'm opposed to any other country taking advantage of that deal. All right, so let me put it like this. You know how your neighbor does not work there, but they call and say, "Can I use your employee discount?" Right? That's it. That's how simple it is. Hey, can I use your employee discount? I got to go in there. I need another 15% off. I'm going to get caught. What could happen? I could get fired. There you go. That's that simple. So they've been using the employee discount that doesn't belong to them. Trump needs to stop it. We need to stop it. No more. We need to take over the Panama Canal. We're well on the way. So I don't want to belabor that. I want to get into Mexico for a minute, because Mexico is a much different situation. Much different. Mexico is a different situation. And I'll tell you why. Number 21, Canada is bending the knee. Number 22, Canada renews pledge to strengthen border. They know. Now, Mexico pledges number 23. I'm going to give you the major difference. Here's the difference in Canada and Mexico. We have a war in Mexico that we do not have in Canada. Now, I'm not telling you there's not corruption in Canada. I'm not telling you there's no cartels. I'm not telling you that something underhanded is not happening and coming across the border. But I am telling you this. The government of Canada, I will say this, all right? The government of Canada, I do not think is working with a cartel. I do not think cartels actually run Canada at this time. I don't know enough about Canada other than I like their comedians. Now, moving right along. Mexico's a different story. Mexico is run by the cartels. They will claim they're not, but they are. All right? My biggest concern is there's a cartel down there that has a tactical, as I call it, nuke that's moved through that has been set up via China. That's my fear. China doesn't care. China doesn't like you. China is stealing your data. For the hell with TikTok. If you say damn TikTok one more time, China has stole your farmland, your dairy, your meat processing. They float balloons. They've geo-tracked everything. They have every coordinate set perfectly for every ammunition manufacturing plant, our military. They have every coordination precise. They have drones. They got it all. They've got spies that work right in Washington, D.C. China has people that work in our capital. China has people that work on the House, work in the House, work in all this bureaucracies. And you think China wouldn't give a cartel and set up a tactical nuke, if necessary, in Mexico? Okay. So now that we've established that would never happen, we have a whole different situation in Mexico. We have a different situation. I said how long ago, Diane? How long ago? I've said it over and over. Mexico may require a war to clean it out. So let's go there. Mexico. Let me just make sure I have what I want here. We're going to go one at a time. We're going to go into Colombia in a minute. What happened there? Colombia. Diane, give me just 1 minute, folks. Give me number 48. I always like a New York Post cover. Oh, by the way, the governor of New Jersey, I guess he's bragging he will house illegals in the governor's mansion, right? I'll put them in my home if I have to. Phil Murphy. Shove thy neighbor. And we'll have some more USDA stuff. USDA. Listen to me, USDA. USAID stuff. And we'll be there in just a minute. Now, in Mexico, 64. Now, this is some headlines out there. Trump wants a war with cartels and may just get one. So remember this. I've told you over and over, very redundant on this. There's a reason why day one, not week 1, week 2, day 1, all those executive orders. He declared an emergency on our southern border, right? Emergency on our southern border. Then he declared and made the cartels terrorist organizations. I've told you over and over. That changes everything. Now, 66. For the first time I've ever seen the U.S. Air Force, all right, they are flying over the airspace and looking at the cartels. They are flying into Mexican airspace right now. Number 67, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth just confirmed, now this was January 31st, that the United States could now conduct special operations against Mexican cartels now that President Trump declared them foreign terrorist organizations. All options will be on the table. Now, Pete Hegseth took his first trip to the southern border, right? I'll show you that in a minute. Number 68. Mexican drug cartels plan attacks on Border Patrol agents with kamikaze drones and other explosives to fight U.S. crackdown. That's right. They may attack our border agents. Now, I'm gonna share some other things with you. Let me have number 69. Federal agents at the U.S. border face new threats from drug cartels, which are calling for using armed drones against them. Right? There's new threats there. On February 1st, 2025, the El Paso Sector Intelligence and Operations Center received information. It's February 4th. This happened just the other day. Received information advising that Mexican cartel leaders have authorized the deployment of drones equipped with explosives to be used against U.S. Border Patrol agents and U.S. military personnel currently working along the border of Mexico. The internal memo titled Officer Safety Alert. Now, I will tell you this. Justin Trudeau and Donald Trump didn't have this conversation. President Trump, give me Pete Hegseth. Video 12.
It's real basic. It's real straightforward. We are warfighters. We train to be lethal. We train to prepare for and fight wars if our nation requires us to do so. Full stop. End of sentence.
It's real simple. We're warfighters. A Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, took a trip to the southern border. We are warfighters. Now, let me just say this to you. I have said it for weeks, way out in front. My hope is nothing happens. But I do know this. We must stop the flow of illegals. We must stop any terrorists coming in this country. Mayorkas, all those people, Kamala Harris, what they allowed to come across that border, knowing what the cartel, we must stop it. It may come to a war. The cartel. So I'm just going to end with this before I go to break. This is what happened. There's a different conversation with the president of Mexico yesterday. Much different. Donald Trump talked to the president of Mexico and say, basically, this is my version. You need to stop bowing up on me. You need to stop going out there and bowing up on me. You understand? Because I will clean house on your border. I will go 50 miles in and clean house. Because see, the cartels, what Trump is doing, all right, is the cartel's lifeline, the drugs they bring across, the illegals they get across, the money, the cash flow. Now you got to understand the cartels. This is ugly. This is the ugly truth. The cartels in Mexico are now operating in, I think, all 50 states in America. They're operating in your communities. They have branch offices. They brought all these people across. They have them. When you keep hearing the media say, oh my God, ICE came in and they may have rounded up somebody innocent. Odds are they're rounding up people that have to pay back the bill to get here and are doing illegal acts in your community to get the money to send back to the cartels in Mexico. Oh my God, yes, it is bad. It is worse than you can imagine right in your neighborhood. And Trump has to stop it. And I'm putting this right up here. No one's talking about this. Oh no, Trump flinched. Oh my God, it's going to cost you more for a damn avocado. And then you got this piece of garbage. Chuck Schumer stands up and says, I'm going to call it, no, Warner, they're going to call it Trump's Super Bowl tax. Because your beer, your Corona is going to cost another quarter, and your tomato and your salsa and your avocados. And it's a Trump. What? You dumbass? Our Border Patrol has intelligence that there could be suicide drones attack them from cartels just days ago? Now, here's the thing. My prediction is that Trump is making a deal with the Mexican president to go to war with the cartels. That's my prediction. Let me tell you why, okay? I'm going to show you something. Let me show you something. Because I may be so far off the chart, but when you start hearing the Laken Riley Act, and I got to get off this, but the Laken Riley Act last week, the mother stood there in tears and thanked President Trump and said, President Trump said, I will not forget about you, right? And he didn't. You hear stories about things that Trump has done so many times. This brings me almost to tears when I see this. It really does. When I see this, it almost, Diane, give me number. I think I have a picture here. I might have a picture. If I do, I'd like to put the picture up. If not, I know I have the video. Hold tight. I want to see if I have the picture. Maybe I do. I got to get off this, but it was just so, it's so heartwarming. So our transportation secretary, his daughter, Sean Duffy's daughter, has Down syndrome. And give me, where's Trump? Give me video 14.
Beautiful.
Hey.
Wait, come here. One more. Okay.
Oh, she's such a big girl.
All right. And in 3, 2, 1, big smile.
Okay, honey.
That's Sean Duffy's daughter. Sean Duffy's daughter, transportation secretary. She has Down syndrome. Trump, when people come in, Trump invites the children in. There it is. Thank you, Diane. Trump invites the children in. She has Down syndrome. He wants you to bring your kids in. Now I say this, just to throw it out there. You notice Trump didn't throw the sniffer on her. I'm sorry. I just had to do it, okay? He didn't throw the sniffer on her, right? But she has Down syndrome. Look at this little girl, this precious little girl standing next to the President of the United States, all excited, right? So let me get back to this for a minute. My thought is that Trump is making a deal with the Mexican president to go to war with the cartels. That's my thing, because I think he may be telling, because he's not going to allow, Trump's not going to allow an attack. All right? It's not going to happen. I mean, you go back, Diane, can you get, I know you don't keep the numbers, but that last one I had there a minute ago, number 69. Thank you for finding that for me, Diane. She is absolutely beautiful. They have intelligence that they may get attacked, okay, by the drones from cartels. Trump's not sitting back on February 1st. He's not sitting back waiting on something, all right? Not doing it. So my opinion, I've said it 100 times, he is talking to the president of Mexico and said, look, here's what's going to happen. You have a cartel make the wrong move. They are already shooting at our border. I'm not Joe Biden. Look here, lady. I'm not Joe Biden. You got it? Let's be clear. They're already shooting across the border. They are at our border patrol. I've got military down there putting barbed wire up. I'll flip the switch in a heartbeat. You got it? I have Black Hawk helicopters cruising up and down that border now. So we're going to make a deal. We're going to clean house down there once and for all. Now, here's what she said that you got to remember. Use your trained ear. She said, look, you think we're in bed with the cartels? How about you guys sending the guns that you send to the cartels? Always remember, there's a fraction of truth in everything. So do we have gun runners that the cartels are able to purchase from? Trump's going to put a stop to it. He's going to clean house down there. Now, here's the last thing, and I said this is the last thing 19 times. Here's the one concern, is the retaliation against the American citizens that are vacationing in Mexico, live in Mexico, that are in Cancun, down there in Tijuana, wherever you're at in Mexico. All right? That's what they're probably working out right now. So the tariff, not concerned at all. 30 days, make a new deal. Let me get with China here. I've got to say this, number 12. We will get into this a little more probably this week. I went a little too far on the Mexico. China imposing tariffs, number 12, starting February 10th. Additional 15% on coal, liquefied natural gas. Additional 10% on crude oil, agricultural machinery, large displacement, automobiles, pickup trucks. They're scraping. Yeah. We had to have somebody that had the guts to stand up to China. Thank you, Donald Trump. We'll be right back after these brief messages.